Bruce Willis, the Hollywood legend who gave us some of the most iconic films of all time, is facing one of the hardest battles of his life. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to watch. His wife, Emma Heming Willis, has opened up about what it's really like to care for Bruce now that he's living with frontotemporal dementia. And the details she shared paint a picture that is both devastating and inspiring at the same time. Let's be real. When we think about Bruce Willis, we immediately think about Die Hard, The Sixth Sense, Pulp Fiction, Armageddon, movies that defined an era and cemented him as one of the greatest action stars in the world. Bruce was the guy who could crack a joke in the middle of chaos, the guy who made you feel his presence the moment he walked into a scene, the guy whose one-liners became a part of pop culture forever. But now, the man who once carried entire franchises on his shoulders is slowly losing one of the most basic and essential parts of being human, his ability to communicate. And hearing his wife describe what's happening to him, it's honestly gut-wrenching. Emma revealed in her sit-down with Diane Sawyer that Bruce's brain is failing him and his language is going. Imagine that for a second. This is a man whose entire career was built on his voice, his delivery, his charisma. From shouting yippee-ki-yay in Die Hard to whispering chilling lines in The Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis made words come alive. And now, words are slipping away from him. Emma said that Bruce is still very mobile, that his health otherwise is strong, but his brain, the very thing that made him Bruce, is where the decline is happening. I think that's the most painful part because fans will always remember him as the witty, sharp, quick-thinking action hero, but at home, his family is watching that side of him fade. She described the early signs of the illness, and honestly, they sound terrifying. Bruce was always known as someone warm, affectionate, and engaged. But suddenly, when the family would get together, he'd grow quiet, almost withdrawn. She said he seemed cold, not like the Bruce everyone knew. And when someone you love suddenly feels like a different person, it's alarming. For Emma, those changes were the first signs something was seriously wrong. At first, Bruce was diagnosed with aphasia in 2022, which explained his struggles with language. That's when his family made the shocking announcement that he would be retiring from acting. Fans were devastated, but the hope was that maybe stepping away from the spotlight would allow him to focus on his health. But within a year, the diagnosis changed. It wasn't just aphasia anymore. It was frontotemporal dementia, one of the cruelest forms of dementia out there, and the family finally had an answer for why things were getting worse. Emma admitted that when she first heard the diagnosis, she felt like she was free-falling. She panicked. She couldn't process what was being said. And really, who could blame her? Imagine being told that your husband, your partner, the father of your children, is not just sick, but that he's battling a disease that will strip away his personality, his ability to communicate, and eventually even his ability to recognize the people he loves. It's brutal. But what makes Emma's story even more powerful is the way she and the family have chosen to handle it. She said they've learned to adapt, to communicate in new ways. It's not about words anymore. It's about connection. And sometimes Bruce still shows that spark. Sometimes he'll laugh, that famous Bruce Willis hearty laugh that everyone knows, or his eyes will twinkle, and for a moment, it feels like he's back. But those moments are fleeting, and Emma admitted that as quickly as they appear, they vanish again, and that's the hardest part. You get a glimpse of the person you knew, and then it's gone. To make sure Bruce is cared for properly, the family even moved him into a separate house with round-the-clock medical support. It's quiet, single-level, and set up in a way that makes it easier for him to move around without being overwhelmed by noise or confusion. Friends and family visit often, and Emma says it's important just to be with him, whether that's sitting outside, watching a movie, or simply holding his hand. Those little acts of presence are what matter most now. And while it's incredibly sad, it's also beautiful to see how much love surrounds him. His children, including Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah from his marriage to Demi Moore, as well as his younger daughters with Emma, all rally around him. Demi herself has been publicly supportive, even celebrating his 70th birthday with the family earlier this year, sharing rare photos of Bruce looking surrounded by love. But the truth is, his condition is getting worse. Reports earlier this year said Bruce has practically stopped reading and speaking, and that walking has become increasingly difficult. It's hard to reconcile the image of John McClane crawling through air ducts, cracking jokes under pressure, with the reality of a man who now struggles to do the simplest things. And that's where my own thoughts come in. Hollywood often builds these larger-than-life images of stars, and we start to believe they're indestructible. But at the end of the day, they're human. And seeing someone like Bruce Willis go through this makes us realize just how fragile life is. This is a guy who seemed unstoppable, untouchable, the ultimate tough guy. And now he's vulnerable in a way that no movie role could have ever prepared us for. Emma has been open about her struggles as a caregiver, too. She admitted that at first she thought she had to handle everything herself. She lost sleep, she withdrew socially, she was drowning in the weight of responsibility. But over time, she realized she didn't have to do it alone. And that's part of why she decided to write her book, The Unexpected Journey: Finding Strength, Hope, and Yourself on the Caregiving Path. It's not just about Bruce. It's about everyone out there who's caring for a loved one with dementia. She wants other people to know that they're not alone, that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, and that there are ways to adapt and find strength, even in the darkest moments. And honestly, I think that's one of the most important things she could be doing right now. Because dementia doesn't just affect the person with the diagnosis. It affects the entire family, every single day. And you can see the impact on Bruce's daughters, too. Rumor, his eldest, wrote an emotional Father's Day message not long ago. She said she feels this deep ache to talk to him, to share her life with him, to ask him questions about his past. She regrets not asking more when she still had the chance. That broke my heart, because it's something so many people with parents suffering from dementia can relate to. You want to hold on to those stories, those memories, but as time goes on, the person you knew slips away. But yet she also said she's grateful that he's still here, that she can still hug him, kiss him, hold his hand. It's that balance of heartbreak and gratitude that defines what this family is going through. What's striking is that Emma has reached a place of acceptance where she doesn't need Bruce to remember that she's his wife or the details of their wedding. She said she just wants that connection, that feeling of love, and she still has that. When they hold hands, when they kiss, when he lights up because he's surrounded by loved ones, that's enough for her. And that perspective is so powerful. It shows a kind of love that goes beyond memory or words. It's pure presence. It's being there for someone even when they can't be the same person they once were. And here's my take on this whole situation. Bruce Willis's journey is heartbreaking, but it's also a reminder to cherish the moments we have with the people we love. We often take for granted that our parents, partners, or friends will always be there to tell stories, to laugh with us, to be the same person they've always been. But the truth is, nothing is guaranteed. Dementia steals those things slowly, piece by piece, and it's one of the cruelest diseases out there. Yet, seeing the way Bruce's family has come together, Emma, Demi, the kids, his friends, it also shows us the resilience of love. Fame, money, Hollywood status, none of that matters now. What matters is family, presence, and connection. Fans around the world continue to show their support, flooding social media with messages of love, sharing old clips in interviews, and celebrating the career of a man who gave us so many unforgettable moments on screen. And I think that's how Bruce deserves to be remembered, as a legend, as someone who made us laugh, cry, and cheer. His movies will live on forever, and as dementia takes away parts of him, his legacy remains untouchable. But more than that, his story is raising awareness about a disease that doesn't get nearly enough attention. Frontotemporal dementia may be less common than Alzheimer's, but it devastates families just the same. And by sharing their journey, the Willis family is helping shine a light on what so many others are going through quietly. So while it's incredibly difficult to watch, there's something profoundly human about it too. It strips away the Hollywood glamour and shows us that at the end of the day, what really matters is love, connection, and being present for the people who matter most. Bruce may not be the same man we saw on screen, but in the eyes of his family, he's still their Bruce. And that's what counts.